Get ready because the news cycle is absolutely on fire today, and we've got the hottest, most mind-blowing updates that you absolutely cannot afford to miss. The world is moving at lightning speed, and if you blink, you'll miss it. But don't worry, we're here to break it all down for you, keeping you ahead of the curve with everything that matters. We're diving deep into the stories that are shaping our reality. Prepare for a rapid-fire rundown that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. This is your essential briefing, your daily dose of what's happening now. You don't want to be the last to know, so buckle up and let's get into it. We've got incredible insights, surprising twists, and all the details you need to stay informed and in the know. First up, we're talking about a cinematic event that's got everyone buzzing. Imagine two of Britain's finest actors, celebrated for their incredible range and charisma, coming together to portray a marriage that starts with passion and ambition, but spirals into a full-blown war. It's a dark comedy that promises to be both hilarious and a little bit terrifying, exploring the extreme highs and lows of a relationship. We're talking about performances that are already being hailed as career-defining. This is the kind of film that makes you reevaluate everything you thought you knew about love, commitment, and the hilarious, often brutal, realities of sharing a life. And speaking of captivating performances, our next story takes us behind the scenes of a major film production that's generating serious Oscar buzz. We're pulling back the curtain on the creative process, exploring how a beloved novel was adapted for the screen and what it took to bring these complex characters to life. This isn't just about the actors. It's about the vision of the director and the sharp wit of the screenwriter who dared to reimagine a classic tale for a new generation. Get ready to hear about the challenges, the triumphs, and the unique artistic choices that made this project stand out. It's a deep dive into the craft of filmmaking and the magic that happens when talent meets a compelling story. You'll get an inside look at how a script evolves and how actors inhabit their roles to create something truly memorable. This is the kind of cinematic alchemy that keeps us coming back for more. Next, we're shifting gears to explore a story that highlights the incredible talent and versatility of one of the most beloved actors working today. When a star known for their warmth and impeccable comedic timing takes on a role that's both deliciously wicked and deeply human, you know you're in for a treat. We're delving into how this acclaimed performer navigates the complexities of a character undergoing dramatic life changes, showcasing a range that solidifies their status as a true icon. This piece offers a fascinating glimpse into their process, their collaborations, and the sheer joy they bring to the screen, even when exploring the darker, more chaotic aspects of life. It's a look at an artist at the peak of their powers, and the reasons why their contributions to cinema continue to resonate so powerfully with audiences worldwide. Prepare to be inspired by their dedication and their ability to connect with characters on such a profound level. Finally, we're looking at how a celebrated director, known for his ability to blend humor with sharp social commentary, tackled a classic story with a modern sensibility. This film is more than just a remake. It's a re-examination of relationships, ambition, and the hilarious, often painful, journey of marriage. We'll uncover the director's perspective on capturing the essence of the original material while infusing it with fresh energy and contemporary relevance. Discover the creative decisions that shape the narrative, the ensemble cast's contributions, and the overall vision that makes this film a must-watch. It's a masterclass in storytelling that balances wit, drama, and relatable human flaws. So, make sure you're subscribed, hit that like button, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss a single second of these incredible updates. We'll see you after the break. A marriage that exploded. It's been over 3 decades since Danny DeVito's darkly comedic The War of the Roses first laid bare the savage humor of divorce, and now director Jay Roach attempts to breathe new life into Warren Adler's seminal 1981 novel. Armed with the sharp pen of Tony McNamara and powered by the formidable talents of 2 of Britain's most revered actors, Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch, The Roses sets the stage for a heavyweight clash. However, instead of the anticipated bruising battle, what unfolds is a surprisingly subdued skirmish, polished to a high gloss but missing the sharp, unforgettable sting of its predecessor. The film follows Theo Rose, portrayed by Benedict Cumberbatch, a celebrated architect, and Ivy Rose, brought to life by Olivia Colman, a gifted chef. Their marriage begins in a fervent haze of passion and ambition. As life progresses, children and domestic responsibilities begin to shift the delicate balance, with Ivy spending a decade at home supporting Theo's soaring career. Then, in a twist of fate, just as Theo's professional life takes a nosedive, Ivy's culinary empire experiences a meteoric rise, and this dramatic reversal of fortunes propels their marriage into a vortex of chaos. What commences as a series of petty disagreements gradually escalates into bitter, soul-crushing confrontations, with each escalating incident pulling their shared home, their circle of friends, and even their very identities into a toxic war from which neither can emerge victorious. Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch are, without a doubt, the primary reason to endure The Roses. Both actors delve deep into their characters, engaging in sparring matches filled with venom-laced dialogue and moments of raw, bruised vulnerability. Olivia, with her innate warmth, manages to make Ivy compelling even during her most unlikable moments, while Benedict masterfully leans into Theo's palpable bitterness and inflated pomposity. Their on-screen chemistry is undeniably jagged yet electric, ensuring they remain captivating even when the script itself begins to falter. The supporting cast certainly adds vibrant color to the proceedings. Andy Samberg and Kate McKinnon, playing the couple's friends Bari and Amy respectively, inject a dose of dry humor into the narrative. Meanwhile, Allison Janney nearly steals the show as Ivy's formidable divorce lawyer, entering the story like a wrecking ball with her commanding presence. The production design and cinematography also deserve significant praise. The Northern California setting is bathed in a polished sheen, with the elegance of the visuals cleverly juxtaposed against the ugliness that festers within the marriage. The film's most significant hurdle lies in its hesitancy to fully commit. Where Danny DeVito's 1989 adaptation plunged headfirst into the darkness of a relationship that had turned rancid, Jay Roach appears to hold back, staging the marital breakdown in broad strokes, but rarely daring to venture into truly vicious territory. The humor lands effectively, but the underlying savagery feels watered down, leaving the film feeling curiously hollow. Equally detrimental is the imbalance in perspective. The narrative glosses over the crucial decade Ivy dedicates to sacrificing her own career, dedicating more screen time to Theo's fall from grace than to Ivy's long-simmering years of resentment. This imbalance subtly tips audience sympathy in Theo's favor, at times reducing Ivy to a mere caricature. For a story fundamentally built on mutual destruction, the scales of justice and empathy never feel truly even. Compounding these issues is the pacing. A full hour is dedicated to setup, chronicling career wins, career losses, and domestic shifts, which significantly delays the promised marital war. By the time the real battles commence, much of the initial energy has already dissipated. And when the chaos finally erupts, it feels more meticulously staged than genuinely shocking. The Roses is undeniably handsomely packaged and significantly bolstered by two powerhouse performances, but it critically lacks the bite, balance, and sheer brutality that a narrative of this nature demands. What should have been a black comic bloodbath of marital destruction is instead a glossy sparring match that never quite cuts as deep as it ought to. For all its pedigree, Jay Roach's version feels more akin to a polite disagreement than an all-out war. But does this reimagining capture the essence of marital discord, or does it miss the mark? Next, we're diving into what makes this particular cinematic adaptation stand out, and whether it truly honors its source material. A New Generation's Marriage War. The story of The Roses, first a celebrated novel and then a hit film in 1989, is being retold for a new era. This time, Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman step into the roles of a couple whose initial love curdles into deep resentment and, ultimately, hatred. The film also features the comedic talents of Andy Samberg and Kate McKinnon, and is helmed by director Jay Roach, known for Meet the Parents and Austin Powers. With a script penned by Tony McNamara, the creative force behind Poor Things and The Favorite. Benedict Cumberbatch, playing Theo Rose, a successful architect, and Olivia Colman, as Ivy Rose, an up-and-coming restaurateur, bring a fresh dynamic to this tale of marital breakdown. Their journey begins with a spontaneous and erratic meeting in a kitchen, a reflection of the impulsive decisions that will define their lives and lead to years of turmoil. The couple decides to move to the U.S. together, embarking on a life that appears idyllic on the surface. 10 years later, they are settled in California with 2 children, eagerly anticipating the opening of Theo's most ambitious project yet, a museum shaped like a boat. As their financial success grows, Ivy decides it's time to pursue her own dream of opening a restaurant. Balancing family life with Theo's help, she launches her venture, but a freak storm that same night brings both immense opportunity and devastating loss. The storm propels Ivy's restaurant into the spotlight thanks to a major food critic, while Theo's newly constructed museum is tragically swept away by the sea. This catastrophic turn of events triggers a profound shift in their family dynamic, ushering in an era of chaos. Theo begins to assert control over the family as Ivy embarks on expanding her restaurant empire. While the filmmakers credit the book as the original source material, the adaptation focuses on the pivotal moments in Theo and Ivy's marriage, using the novel as a jumping-off point to explore the people they become. The film's short runtime is packed with the evolution of their relationship, and while the performances are undeniably remarkable, it's the screenplay and the distinctively dark, self-deprecating British humor that truly elevate the experience. Beyond the central duo, the film boasts a strong supporting cast. Andy Samberg and Kate McKinnon appear at crucial junctures, coinciding with major life changes for Theo and Ivy, and their consistent presence enhances the comedic flow and character development. The running gags of infidelity, initially appearing over the top and baseless, are skillfully justified with remarkable depth as the narrative progresses. What truly makes The Roses a compelling watch is the interplay between Benedict and Olivia, both in their shared scenes and their individual moments. Their unfiltered thoughts often mirror our own, and their interactions, despite the escalating conflict, preserve a fascinating complexity within their relationship, culminating in an ending that serves as the ultimate irony. Amidst the love and chaos, the filmmakers skillfully weave in foreshadowing, which rewards the audience with a deeper understanding of their relationship's eventual downfall. It is the very human, and at times relentless, absurdity of these characters that makes them relatable and ultimately endearing, drawing viewers into their tumultuous journey. The Roses is an absolute must-watch for enthusiasts of British comedy, dark humor, satirical love stories, and exceptional performances. It promises to leave you in stitches while simultaneously offering a humbling perspective on the human condition. But how does this new take on a classic story hold up against its iconic predecessor? We'll explore the director's vision and the unique approach taken to bring this story to life for a modern audience. A masterclass in dark comedy. Olivia Colman, often seen as the epitome of eccentrically brilliant Britishness, perfectly embodies the spirit of The Roses. In a video call from London, she's seen clutching an oversized teacup, informing her co-star Benedict Cumberbatch that she's found a place in New York to procure Yorkshire Gold tea bags, only to lament, "But I never got there to pick them up." Cumberbatch, with a comforting hand on her shoulder, announces this is not Olivia Colman, as her exaggerated shoulder pad spectacularly crumples. Colman giggles, "Imagine if I had shoulders like that." The pair, longtime friends, share the screen together for the first time in The Roses. The film, adapted by Australian writer Tony McNamara from Warren Adler's 1981 novel, The War of the Roses, chronicles a marriage in freefall. Colman plays Ivy Rose, a successful chef, and Cumberbatch portrays Theo Rose, a frustrated architect. They meet in a kitchen's cool room the day Theo dramatically quits his job, sparking a whirlwind romance that leads them to Mendocino, California, though filmed in Dorset, England. There, they build a life and raise 2 children. Primarily, Ivy is the one raising their children, while Theo dedicates himself to his passion project, designing a maritime museum. When this ambitious endeavor spectacularly fails, Theo assumes the role of the stay-at-home dad, while Ivy launches her seafood restaurant, amusingly named We've Got Crabs. The ebullient familiarity between Colman and Cumberbatch injects a sharper edge into the increasingly venomous breakdown of Ivy and Theo's marriage. "There's a lot of joy and trust between us, but it got a bit weird," Cumberbatch remarks. He elaborates on the filming process. "We filmed it in chronological order, so it was quite witty with a language of love between them at the beginning of the story. Then it got pretty nasty and toxic. I had to check in with Olivia softly. 'Are we all right?' Tony McNamara, also the screenwriter for The Favorite, which earned Olivia Colman her first Academy Award, ensured they incorporated numerous small hugs between scenes, even as Ivy unleashes Colman's now signature C-bombs. When asked if this surprised their American co-stars, who are famously less accustomed to such language than many Brits and Australians, Colman confidently states, "Most of our co-stars are Saturday Night Live alumni, and they're okay with that sort of humor," with Cumberbatch adding, "They've got good taste." Were they apprehensive about stepping into roles made famous by Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner in director Danny DeVito's 1989 film? "All of us on the entire set are fans of that film," Colman admits. "It was a jumping-off point, more influenced by the book, and it's very different, barring the odd homage, like the chandelier falling." Cumberbatch concurs that it's a distinct entity. "Our director, Jay Roach, and brilliant writer McNamara lent into the why more than the what," he explains. "So you have a richer understanding of the missed opportunities and misunderstandings, of why they're not looking out for one another." McNamara was keenly aware of the need for evolution. The idea was to think about marriage differently, through being an expat with fish-out-of-water comedy, rather than trying to remake something that was already brilliant, he says. The clash of careers between Theo and Ivy was a crucial element, with Cumberbatch's role shifting from a staid lawyer to a haughty architect brought low, while Ivy ascends as a celebrity chef. "I wanted them both to be very ambitious," McNamara states. "I also wanted Theo's ego to be the architect of his own problem." McNamara, Oscar-nominated for his screenplays for Yorgos Lanthimos' Poor Things and The Favorite, as well as the Stan series, The Great, possesses a gift for crafting deliciously wicked partnerships. "I enjoy how complicated the exchange between two humans can be," he shares. "That's what I like in my own relationship." He is married to Australian actor Belinda Bromelow, who appears as Ivy and Theo's exasperated relationship counselor. "It's fun and sharp and kind of challenging, and I love writing that." Roach's directorial work spans the euphemism-laden hilarity of the Austin Powers movies to the Nicole Kidman-led seriousness of the Me Too biopic Bombshell, positioning The Roses on its own unique tangent. "I've never done anything quite like it, going this far into dark comedy," he reveals. "I love making fun of how pathetic we are as human beings. How we care so much and we try so hard, but we will always make things worse for a while before we finally make them better." He felt McNamara's script was exceptional. "I was like, oh my God, this is close to how life feels to me, and it's also therapeutic in that it allows you to laugh at how painful everything is." He adds, "Sometimes you lose track, forget, and take something for granted, and I think the film is a cautionary tale about making sure you stay on top of it." Dinner parties that devolve spectacularly can create impeccable cinema, and The Roses delivers a messy, unforgettable example. The film features former Doctor Who star Ncuti Gatwa as Jeffrey, a waiter at Ivy's restaurant, Night Bitch actor Zoe Kao as a colleague of Theo's, and Barbie scene stealer Kate McKinnon as an overly amorous family friend. McKinnon recalls the filming of a particularly chaotic scene. "That scene was shot over a period of 4 days or so, and we lived on the stink of that social hell for so long. It was the greatest week of my life. So many takes, they were ruined, and you try not to ruin other people's hard work, but sometimes it can't be avoided." Gatwa humorously adds that McKinnon lost the food fight, noting, "You got a good one, Kate." McKinnon recounts the aftermath. "I had cake in my cornea, in my eyebrows, and in my ear. I had to take my little finger and scoop the remnants of frosting from my nostril without eating them." Kao confirms that the cast experienced zoomies on set, particularly when Colman would swear. "It feels like totality," she chuckles. "Like everything is happening the way it's supposed to be for the first time in all of world history." McKinnon agrees, explaining the impact of Colman's accent on American audiences. "With that accent, to the American imagination, her voice conjures images of beautiful nannies, nuns. Just motherly, caring figures, clotted cream and little scones. And the C word in America has much more impact, so the juxtaposition of those two is so satisfying." The Roses is currently playing in Australian cinemas. This film is packed with incredible talent both in front of and behind the camera. What else did the cast and crew have to say about their experience? Join us as we explore more insights into this highly anticipated dark comedy. A star-studded collision of comedy and chaos. Olivia Colman stands as a beacon of wonderfully eccentric British charm, making her role in The Roses a perfect fit. During a video call from London, she's seen holding a generously sized teacup, informing her co-star Benedict Cumberbatch that she's located a place in New York where she can buy Yorkshire Gold tea bags. She sighs, "But I never got there to pick them up." Cumberbatch gently places a hand on Colman's shoulder in a gesture of consolation, announcing, "This is not Olivia Colman," as her comically oversized shoulder pad dramatically collapses. Colman responds with a giggle, "Imagine if I had shoulders like that." Although long-time friends, The Roses marks the very first time Colman and Cumberbatch have graced the screen together. The film is an adaptation by Australian writer Tony McNamara, based on Warren Adler's 1981 novel, The War of the Roses, which chronicles a marriage spiraling out of control. In the film, Colman portrays Ivy Rose, a highly successful chef, while Cumberbatch plays Theo Rose, an architect grappling with frustration. Their relationship sparks to life with a spontaneous and somewhat erratic encounter in a kitchen's coolroom, precisely on the day Theo makes a dramatic exit from his job. This leads to a whirlwind romance, culminating in their relocation to Mendocino, California, though principal photography took place in Dorset, England. There, they establish a life together and raise 2 children. More accurately, Ivy is the primary caregiver for their children, while Theo immerses himself in a passion project, the design of a maritime museum. When this ambitious undertaking meets a disastrous end, Theo transitions into the role of stay-at-home dad, while Ivy seizes the opportunity to launch her own seafood establishment, amusingly christened We've Got Crabs. The palpable familiarity and ease between Colman and Cumberbatch lend a sharper, more poignant edge to the increasingly venomous disintegration of Ivy and Theo's marriage. "There's a lot of joy and trust between us, but it got a bit weird," Cumberbatch candidly shares. He further elaborates on the filming process. "We filmed it in chronological order, so it was quite witty with a language of love between them at the beginning of the story, then it got pretty nasty and toxic. I had to check in with Olivia softly. Are we all right?" Tony McNamara, who also penned the screenplay for The Favorite, the film that secured Olivia Colman her first Academy Award, made sure to incorporate numerous small, affectionate gestures, like hugs, between scenes, even as Ivy unleashes Colman's now-trademark expletives. When questioned about whether this surprised their American co-stars, who are generally less accustomed to such language than many in Britain and Australia, Colman confidently asserts, "Most of our co-stars are Saturday Night Live alumni, and they're okay with that sort of humor," with Cumberbatch adding his approval. "They've got good taste." Were they at all concerned about inhabiting roles previously immortalized by Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner in director Danny DeVito's iconic 1989 film? "All of us on the entire set are fans of that film," Colman admits. "It was a jumping-off point, more influenced by the book, and it's very different, barring the odd homage, like the chandelier falling." Cumberbatch agrees that it's a distinct creation. Our director, Jay Roach, and brilliant writer McNamara lent into the why more than the what, he explains. "So you have a richer understanding of the missed opportunities and misunderstandings, of why they're not looking out for one another." McNamara was very deliberate about evolving the narrative. The idea was to think about marriage differently, through being an expat with fish-out-of-water comedy, rather than trying to remake something that was already brilliant, he states. A pivotal aspect of the story was the career conflict between Theo and Ivy, with Cumberbatch's character shifting from a rather stuffy lawyer to a snooty architect who faces a downfall, while Ivy achieves fame as a celebrity chef. "I wanted them both to be very ambitious," McNamara says. "I also wanted Theo's ego to be the architect of his own problem." McNamara, celebrated for his Oscar-nominated screenplays for director Yorgos Lanthimos' Poor Things and The Favorite, as well as the Stan series The Great, is exceptionally skilled at writing deliciously wicked partnerships. "I enjoy how complicated the exchange between 2 humans can be," he shares. "That's what I like in my own relationship." He is married to Australian actor Belinda Bromelow, who plays Ivy and Theo's exasperated relationship counselor. "It's fun and sharp and kind of challenging, and I love writing that." Roach's directorial portfolio ranges from the euphemism-laden humor of the Austin Powers franchise to the serious tone of the Nicole Kidman-led Me Too biopic Bombshell. positioning The Roses as a unique endeavor. "I've never done anything quite like it, going this far into dark comedy," he admits. "I love making fun of how pathetic we are as human beings. How we care so much and we try so hard, but we will always make things worse for a while before we finally make them better." He found McNamara's script to be compelling. "I was like, oh my God, this is close to how life feels to me, and it's also therapeutic in that it allows you to laugh at how painful everything is." He adds, "Sometimes you lose track, forget, and take something for granted. And I think the film is a cautionary tale about making sure you stay on top of it." Scenes involving dinner parties that go spectacularly wrong can make for impeccable cinema, and The Roses hosts a gloriously messy example. The film features former Doctor Who star Ncuti Gatwa as Jeffrey, a waiter at Ivy's restaurant, Night Bitch actor Zoe Kao as a colleague of Theo's, and Barbie scene stealer Kate McKinnon as an overly flirtatious family friend. McKinnon vividly describes the filming of a particularly chaotic scene. "That scene was shot over a period of 4 days or so, and we lived on the stink of that social hell for so long. It was the greatest week of my life. So many takes, they were ruined, and you try not to ruin other people's hard work, but sometimes it can't be avoided." Gatwa humorously chimes in, noting that McKinnon lost the food fight, stating, "You got a good one, Kate." McKinnon recounts the messy aftermath. "I had cake in my cornea, in my eyebrows, and in my ear. I had to take my little finger and scoop the remnants of frosting from my nostril without eating them." Kao confirms that the cast experienced bouts of zoomies on set, especially whenever Colman would utter a curse word. "It feels like totality," she chuckles. "Like everything is happening the way it's supposed to be for the first time in all of world history." McKinnon agrees, highlighting the impact of Colman's accent on American audiences. "With that accent, to the American imagination, her voice conjures images of beautiful nannies, nuns. Just motherly, caring figures, clotted cream and little scones. And the C word in America has much more impact, so the juxtaposition of those two is so satisfying." The Roses is currently being screened in Australian cinemas. This film is packed with incredible talent both in front of and behind the camera. What else did the cast and crew have to say about their experience? Join us as we explore more insights into this highly anticipated dark comedy. So there you have it. We've journeyed through the wild ride of a marriage turned upside down in The Roses, explored the incredible talent of its stars, and uncovered the creative genius behind its adaptation. It's a film that promises big laughs, sharp wit, and a whole lot of chaos, proving that sometimes the most intense battles are fought within the home. From the stellar performances of Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman to the sharp writing and directorial vision, this movie is definitely one to watch. If you loved this deep dive, make sure to give this video a massive thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to Tom's Spotlight for more unmissable updates on everything happening in the world of entertainment, culture, and beyond. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our latest content. And let us know in the comments below, what did you think of our coverage? Are you excited to see The Roses? We'd love to hear from you. You can also follow us on all our social media channels for even more behind-the-scenes content and breaking news. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.